Mr. Trump, is Michael Cohen a liar? Are you going to testify?
I have a gag order as to that first question. As you know, they've taken away my constitutional rights, so I'm not allowed to answer that question. This has never happened in this country before. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous...
That was Donald Trump arriving at his criminal trial. We are now in week 4, day 12. Donald Trump falsely stating there that he's not allowed to discuss whether or not he will testify at his criminal trial based on the gag order. That is 100% false. But what is 100% true is Donald Trump is precluded from attacking or threatening the jury. He did that previously. There was a contempt hearing that was held last week. Justice Maran has just found Donald Trump in contempt for the 10th time and put Donald Trump on notice that any future violations will be met with immediate incarceration. Justice Maran handed down a written order and admonished Donald Trump to Donald Trump's face when Donald Trump arrived in the courtroom. Justice Maran stated, quote, "I cannot allow this to continue any further, Mr. Trump. This is the last time I am telling you this. Going forward, this court will consider a jail sanction." Donald Trump had previously made yet another statement about the jury, whining and saying how unfair the jury is and that the jury's 95% Democrat, which is a false statement, but threatening the jury, threatening witnesses, threatening court staff, threatening family members of court staff, threatening other lawyers in the prosecutions team other than Alvin Bragg, all violations of the gag order. You'll recall that there was a prior order that was issued by Justice Maran finding Donald Trump in contempt for 9 separate violations of the gag order. This would be the 10th violation of the gag order, and Justice Maran made it clear that 10 is too much. Next time it's incarceration for you. You see it right here in Justice Maran's order saying that defendant Donald Trump is hereby put on notice that if appropriate and warranted, future violations of its lawful orders will be punishable by incarceration. Here's the written order that was issued moments ago by Justice Maran. Let's just take a look at the written order right here. It talks about how, turning to the statements that are referenced in the prosecutor's exhibits, the court finds that the people have established the elements of criminal contempt beyond a reasonable doubt. This court's expanded order is lawful and unambiguous. Defendant violated the order by making public statements about the jury and how it was selected. In doing so, defendant not only called into question the integrity and therefore the legitimacy of these proceedings, but again raised the specter of fear for the safety of the jurors and of their loved ones. Such concerns undoubtedly threaten to interfere with the fair administration of justice and constitute a direct attack on the rule of law. It remains this court's fundamental responsibility to protect the decency of the criminal proceeding and to control disruptive influences in the courtroom. The court finds defendant in criminal contempt for willfully disobeying a lawful mandate of this court in violation of judiciary law, section 750 sub 3. Justice Maran looked at Donald Trump, admonished him to his face in the courtroom, and Justice Maran said, "Mr. Trump, listen to me very clearly. Going forward, this court will have to consider a jail sanction for you. The magnitude of such a decision is not lost on me, but at the end of the day, I have a job to do. Your attacks on the jury, your continued violations of this court's gag order constitute a direct attack on the rule of law itself. Do you understand me, Mr. Trump?" That's how Justice Maran handled it today. I will not allow this to continue. Let's take a look one more time at the written order by Justice Muran. Punishment and order. You'll see Justice Muran signed this page right here. As stated in its decision and order of April 30th, 2024, criminal contempt is punishable by a fine not exceeding $1,000, by jail not exceeding 30 days, or by both in the discretion of the court. The judiciary law permits this punishment to protect the dignity of the judicial system and to compel respect for its mandates. Because the offensive statements by Trump were made prior to this court's decision of April 30th, that was the prior contempt order against Donald Trump, and because the people are seeking only a monetary fine, the court will once again fine defendant $1,000. However, because this is now the 10th time that this court has found defendant in criminal contempt spanning 3 separate motions, it is apparent that monetary fines have not and will not suffice to deter defendant from violating this court's lawful orders. Therefore, defendant is hereby put on notice that if appropriate and warranted, future violations of its lawful orders will be punishable by incarceration. It is hereby ordered that defendant pay a $1,000 fine for his violation of this court's lawful order by the close of business on Friday, May 10th, 2024, and it is ordered that if the offending statement has been posted to defendant's Truth Social account or his official campaign website, it is to be removed by 2:15 p.m. Monday, May 6, 2024. The foregoing constitutes the decision and order of the court dated May 6, 2024, signed by Justice Muran. Justice Muran actually deliberated over 4 potential additional gag order violations, but only found Donald Trump's statements about the jury to constitute criminal contempt beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the standard that Justice Muran had to find. There were other statements that the district attorney's office brought to Justice Muran's attention that related to Michael Cohen. Ultimately, I think the judge ruled because Cohen had referred to Donald Trump as von Schützenpants. That was one of the arguments that Donald Trump's lawyers made to Justice Muran. Look, Cohen had been calling Donald Trump von Schützenpants. Donald Trump was responding to that, which I don't really think Trump was, but Justice Muran said, look, I won't find beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump potentially responding to von Schützenpants is a gag order violation. I will find when Donald Trump made a statement about the jury that was a violation of the gag order, a clear, unambiguous violation of the gag order. It's worth noting that it was MidasTouch.com and our editorial team that actually broke the story about Donald Trump's statements about the jury during an interview he was giving with, I believe, certain right-wing media. And that's ultimately the statement where Donald Trump was found in violation of the gag order. So hat tip to our team right there at MidasTouch.com. By the way, if you want to support their efforts, go to patreon.com/MidasTouch. That editorial team does some great work and they're continuing to grow. Also, as Donald Trump entered the courtroom earlier today, not only was he falsely saying that he can't talk about whether or not he can testify. That's, again, 100% false. He's allowed to talk about that. The gag order doesn't prevent him from that. And as I mentioned, the gag order certainly does not prevent Donald Trump from testifying at trial. He has an absolute constitutional right to testify at trial. Donald Trump also brought that stack of papers with him that he brings. He has someone follow him with a portable printer and then print what the person thinks are favorable articles for him. And then he writes on these articles with his Sharpie what he likes about the articles from right-wing media. And then he started whining about how unfair the witnesses are and that it's unfair that these witnesses are testifying against him. Here, listen to this.
Absolutely no case. It's a political hoax. It's election interference. Anything they can do. And even the witnesses they want to bring up, they have nothing to do with the case. This is a ridiculous situation. Not fair, but we will fight. Thank you.
And the witness who was called earlier this morning was Jeff McConney. As the jury arrived, as Adam Klasfeld reports, all rise, the jury is entering. the people call Jeffrey McConney. And of course, you may know that name. Jeffrey McConney is the Trump Organization's former controller. He was a civil fraud co-defendant with Donald Trump. He had actually testified in the prior criminal case against the Trump Organization, where the Trump Organization was found guilty of numerous felonies for tax-related crimes in Manhattan. And McConney was a key witness for the district attorney's office in that case. So there you have it. Donald Trump held in contempt for the 10th time. We'll keep you updated as we learn more here on the Midas Touch Network. Thank you so much for watching. Keep you updated. Keep checking back in for more breaking news.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the Midas Touch newsletter at MidasTouch.com/newsletter.